say we have a power. But every night I'm making new best friends. And the only problem is we like having a good time.
Good evening. Hello, hello, hello. Love wrestling community, friends, family. As you can see, I am JPJ. He is Pluggo. And we are back once again for another episode of Between Two Beards. Pluggo, how we doing this week? What's going on, man?
I'm doing well. If I could figure out these technical issues I'm having as I send out our last few links for the day. But what a week of wrestling we've had, man. It's been jam-packed. It's been a lot of fun. Where to start, JPJ? Where do you want to start today, my friend?
I would say, there
was some big news today.
There is some big news today, and we're going to dive into that. But do you know what today is?
I don't.
Do you know what this episode is, John?
It's the day before Spencer loses to me in a pick'em.
Okay, that might be true. Tim, thanks for hopping in. Glad, in the moment you could.
Yes,
you popped in and said hello. Thank you. And Ryan, good to see you again. Thanks for hopping in this evening.
All right, now that I've got our shameless plugs out of the way.
Well, speaking of plugs, Pluggo.
I
didn't think we'd make it this far, but this is the 10th episode of this wonderful show that we've created, Between Two Beards. I didn't think we'd make it past one.
No.
But let alone 10. We're still kicking. We're still alive. Spencer we're still on the payroll, and we are surviving.
Yeah, as much as we've been in Spencer's office over the last 10 weeks, he still keeps employing us. I'm not sure. I know why he employs you. You are very good at what you do. I, on the other hand, as you can see over there, I can't. There we go. Right there. Spencer Fears Pluggo. I keep there. Keeps giving us the platform, so we can't thank you enough. So in Between Two Beards fashion, we are not celebrating 10 episodes tonight. We're not doing that. Everybody celebrates the 10s. We'll see you next week for the 11th episode extravaganza, bash, retrospective, celebration, if you will. It's going to be wild. There's going to be fireworks, all sorts of shenanigans.
Next week will be the week.
Nah.
Will be the week. We don't celebrate 10ths here.
We celebrate the 1s and the 6s.
There you go. So next week, be on board for that retrospective.
That's right.
Of Between Two Beards. But John, Pluggo, they're big wrestling week. And, usually on Thursdays at some point during the day, there's some breaking news of some sort that we discuss when we get on here. And once again, I'm scrolling through the social medias a couple hours ago, and I see our friends over at Fightful release some news. What do you think about Goldberg? I don't know if we've talked about Goldberg since we've started this.
Because he hasn't been around.
Since we started this Between Two Beards, because he has not been around. So the rumor is Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful says that there are plans for Goldberg to return to WWE, and not only, yes, Jeremiah, you are 100% correct. Dynamite has been on fire. Oh, absolutely. Last 2 weeks have been amazing. Goldberg is slated to return, and the rumor, according to that report, is that at SummerSlam, he is slated to challenge Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. Yeah, I saw.
Joking.
Is this automatically that you got to be like? Are we just starting with it? Is that what we're doing right now?
Yes.
Because
I'm at. It's plain and simple. You want to bring Goldberg back to wrestle? I'm okay with it. Like, that's fine. I get it. Legends coming back. That's cool and all. But he doesn't.
Is it? Like, I'm okay with Goldberg.
Correctly. He doesn't need to be in a title match. He doesn't need to be always in the title picture. Like when he came back at SummerSlam a few years ago and completely annihilated Dolph Ziggler, I'm fine with that. That's cool. Whatever. Yep. Do your thing. But we don't need him in the major title picture. It just comes back to this, like, if you built up these stars and you had multiple contenders available, you would need to bring Goldberg back for this match. You could have Goldberg face, whoever, and it's still fine with me. Like,
Hey, Spencer, thanks for hopping in, man. Hope you're doing all right. Sending love your way as well, my friend.
Much love, Spencer. We appreciate you letting us do this, even though I'm not supposed to be nice to you for the next like 24 hours.
Oh, man. And, as you can see, a lot of us are feeling the same way when it comes to Goldberg.
Goldberg at this point, he's not even good anymore.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't, he didn't have an array of moves back then. He wasn't, lighting the world on fire back then. But at least back then, it made sense what they were doing with him. But the last few matches he's had have not been great.
Yeah.
The one
My thing is,
he could barely get him up for the jackhammer. Like, come on, man.
So here's my thing when I think about it. And the comment that we just got from Jeremy in the chat, if we can put that on the screen, 100%. We all get angry at Goldberg, but it ain't. It's not his fault. Vince keeps on calling him, saying, "Hey, here's $1 million.
Right.
Come wrestle one match for me, will you?" Or whatever.
We're sitting here on talking about it, but I'm sure it's offered me $1 million.
Correct. Yeah.
Sure.
But when I think about this, when I first started, I thought it was a joke. I thought people were playing jokes on me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, whatever." Right. And then I saw it, and I was like, bummed. And I'm like, "Okay, here's the thing. We've talked about WWE main roster and how Raw and everything, and I think, but we've also talked about the general excitement that we all have about like what's coming up here. Like SmackDown tomorrow night is in front of a live crowd. And Money in the Bank, and then next week we're back. We're back at touring. We're back at live, regular crowds. We've heard rumors not about this return, but we've heard rumors about other returns. Becky Lynch, John Cena, potentially a Brock Lesnar. I think Fourth Rate is doing him. That's too much justice, Spencer. I think that's overplaying Goldberg. Fourth Rate. That's if I was Brock, I'd be offended. I'd be offended by Fourth Rate. But so I guess for me, right, I haven't been excited about main roster WWE in a while. They did the best they could under the circumstances, but I have been very excited about this weekend and the next. I had faith that WWE was going to look at this as kind of like a reset and like, hey, we got to win some people here. Like we're coming back. Fans are coming back. Like this is real. And the fact that a day before our first live full crowd WWE show in a year and a half almost, we hear that they're doing the same old shit bothers me. It bothers me. And it makes me worried about, am I thinking too positively? Because I'm real excited. Right? And like, yeah, it just bothers me. Like, okay, so am I getting excited for them to just going to do the same old shit they've been doing forever? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I hope that they don't. But we were talking about it on the Sunday brunch. Shameless plug. Get your mug at lovewrestlingshop.com/ca. Sorry. But we were talking about it, and we said they've got to pull out some stops to make this bigger, as we've seen with AEW and their fans back. Having a crowd makes all the difference, and I think we talked about that last week on the War Report.
Yep.
Plug again, check that out. But basically, they need to pull out some stops, and that's fine if you want to have Cena come back and rev up the crowd. And you want to have Goldberg come back and squash a fool. Like, I'm fine with those things happening, but he doesn't need. It's just, it comes back to like, your title picture shouldn't be 55-year-old Goldberg, who we've seen have these title matches, and he seemingly hasn't done anything to deserve them. That's where, like, he's not coming back and like winning a few matches and then he's just coming back saying, I'm Goldberg, give me title shot. Like, it doesn't work for me. And I guess that's my AEW bias, because at least they make you have to kind of earn these title shots in some way, shape, or form, right? They don't just hand it to people. So that could be where I'm at. But I just have him come back, squash Dolph Ziggler, and move on. Like, I'm cool, because it'll be 3 minutes out of a 2-hour, 3-hour pay-per-view, and it'll be fine. But I don't want to see him in my title picture. I want to see Bobby Lashley just destroy him. That's my hope. But Goldberg has also been known not to just lay down for somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, he lost to Drew, but it took Drew like literally throwing him through barricades and yada anyway.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So I mean that's kind of where I get frustrated with it. It's just like you want I think we're in agreement here. You want to bring him back, fine, but like, can he fight somebody that it's a big deal? Like, you know what? Him fighting for the WWE title or any major title, that does nothing for like I don't care about that. I don't care about that match. And it's just one of those things. I don't know. I just don't feel I don't see the need for him to come back in that capacity. I personally don't see the need for him to come back at all anymore.
That's fair.
But if you're gonna bring him back, he doesn't need to be in the world title picture. He can have a grudge match again, like you said, against somebody that a loss won't hurt, or God forbid you put him in there with like an up and comer and have him put someone over, or you know, like
they're doing it strictly because the crowd is going to chant Goldberg.
yeah. And I think their plan was I think their plan was Lashley and Lesnar, and something happened. However may be, Brock maybe said no, or maybe was like, no, I don't feel like coming back, or whatever. And instead of trying something else or trying something different, they're like, okay, well, if Brock can't do it, we'll just take Goldberg. We'll just take Goldberg.
Yeah.
Then that's it. And it's like, okay, well, that's no. You could be creative. You could be creative and do something.
You know who should come back? You know who I want to see come back? I want to see Becky Lynch come back.
Oh, we're getting that. We're getting that.
This is my plea to her and WWE. I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm not saying rush her back. If she needs more time, she's allowed more time. I obviously cannot speak on what pregnancy does to the body. But if Becky, if you even just came back just to rile up the crowd, like, I want to see that. Please make that happen. If you're listening, Becky, I know, Becky Lynch is a huge Between Two Beards fan. I know she is. She's home right now checking it out. So if you're in the comments, Becky, come back this week, make it awesome. Because it's going to be, I think tomorrow is going to be a big deal. And like I said, like what we've seen with AEW, and I'm not comparing the two shows. I'm just saying fans being in attendance at full capacity makes a huge difference. Now, is the fans maybe as wild and crazy if this is maybe the 12th episode Dynamite's had? Maybe not, but I mean the first two that they've had has been.
Oh yeah.
And the I want to call it the Capitol Wrestling Center. I get the acronym out. They've been really turning it up too. So I can't wait to see what a SmackDown and the Money in the Bank this weekend looks like with a full, just fans excited to be back. And I hope it's as great as I'm putting it into my mind, and I'm not going to be disappointed. Yeah,
and I think our buddy Ecto in the chat, he had it up earlier. She will be there for the Money in the Bank. She's going to be there this weekend. I don't know if she comes back on Money in the Bank, or maybe it's the Raw after, or I don't know, but we are going to see Becky Lynch at some point this weekend. I think it's I'm not going to throw a guarantee on it, but I think it's as close to a guarantee as you can get that we're going to see Becky Lynch. We're going to see Becky Lynch.
Good.
And I think we're all kind of ready for it too.
And also, Ed, if you're watching too, I know you're not a Becky Lynch fan because he said the comments on the he was like, I don't want to see her face anybody. And I was like, what? Ed, come and
excuse me? What? No, but
well, without Bayley, and I hope that they find a place for Bayley. We still haven't seen that, how that's going to play out with her injury. I just think if you're going to stack the deck with a guy like Goldberg, you can find something if she wants to do it, find something for Becky Lynch to do this weekend with fans. Because I think it's going to be wild tomorrow. It's going to be wild on Sunday, and Monday's Raw is going to be a must watch.
Oh, I think this whole weekend through Monday it's a major deal for WWE. They need to knock this out of the park.
Yeah.
And SummerSlam is going to be their WrestleMania for this year, because WrestleMania, it had fans, but it still wasn't full capacity. So they're treating, and I think it's their right, and they should be doing so, but they're treating SummerSlam as if it's going to be their WrestleMania this year.
Good.
So they really got to hit the ground running here tomorrow night, welcoming fans back and stuff like that, and kind of pedal to the metal and let's go. You know what I mean? I do think if Becky were to come back for SmackDown, I do think she would need to be, maybe not need to be, because she's kind of cool. I think she would get cheered and liked anyway because she's just so cool. Or like, she presents herself as just the man, the badass,
No matter what she does, if she shows up Friday.
Yeah. And if it's her and Bianca, I do think she needs to be more of the heelish one of the two there, because Bianca is clearly the babyface star that they're trying to make right now.
Cena and Roman Reigns kind of faced off, and everybody still cheered Cena. That was a Cena fan, but he was playing the heel promo.
Yeah, I think that's how it will be. It'll be that tweener, like.
Yeah, I think Becky, if she did get into it with Bianca, she's going to tween her heel Bianca just out of default, but I think everybody's just going to be like, this is two badass women going head to head. Who cares? Yeah. And that's what it should be. I think you don't need to, whatever Becky program she gets into, she's going to be by default the face. She's going to be the one that's getting over. So I don't think you need to necessarily have either one play the part, just have them both be them. Like Bianca being that strong, badass woman she is, and Becky being the badass she is. Just let them go at it.
Yeah.
See what happens.
And I agree with Joe. The money is with her being a face. I think no matter what she does, when we see her, the place is going to explode. The place is going to explode. Everyone's going to be ready for it. Most likely she will come back as what she was, the baby face, the man. You could make an argument. I mean, I don't even think it is an argument, but she was the biggest star in the company.
Mm-hmm.
That whole run there, like she main evented WrestleMania. She was getting the biggest pops. Yeah. Well, and you are right. Raw, even though it's been better of late, it has not, it's still not great. But there is a draft coming up. I think they delayed it a little bit. I heard the last rumor. It might not be till like October-ish now, but there is going to be a draft. There's going to be a reshuffling of things here. We've already seen it with Shotzi and Tegan Nox coming up to the main roster. We saw Mandy Rose go down to NXT, and apparently Aaliyah is going to the main roster. So we're already seeing some shuffling. And when that happens, when the draft happens, there is going to be a shake. I could see Drew McIntyre. I know Spencer has said this, Drew McIntyre going over to SmackDown. I could see
he needs something.
Yeah,
you got to do something.
Yes. And I don't think Raw will ever be renamed. I don't think that's something that will ever happen. That's like, even though it clearly hasn't been for the last year and a half, they still view it as the flagship. It's Raw. So they definitely need to change something about it. I know they're both shows are apparently getting new sets. And things like that. But there needs to be a dramatic shift of how they do things. And
this is we stay invested in it, even if it's been bad, because they keep giving us this hope.
Yeah, 100%.
They keep putting it like the fans are going to be back, so I can't wait to see it. We're getting new sets. And I always get excited for new. I get like when they brought up Shotzi and Tegan, I was like, all right, that's fresh faces on SmackDown. That's what we need. And they need more tag team and more women. They need to just shuffle it up. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I can't believe I'm super optimistically positive. It's probably because I've been on vacation for the last few days. So
You're rested.
I'm rested.
You're rested. That's why.
Let's go. This weekend is going to be exciting.
I did notice a little extra pep in your step, so
before the show.
No, but I think we should be optimistic. I think as wrestling fans, we should be pumped for this weekend. We should be excited. As much as, Raw has been iffy and stuff like that, like you bet your ass I'm going to be watching that at 8:00 on Monday, knowing that there's going to be a live crowd. Like, I want to see it. I want to see what's going on. Like, it's an exciting time to be a wrestling fan. Like, AEW has kicked ass the last 2 weeks, and the crowds have been an important factor in both of those shows. Fans are ready to go back to arenas, and fans are ready to chant, and fans are ready to get back after it. We've had to watch this stuff from our couch for the last year and a half without that interaction. And I think when they start traveling and they go to these cities again for the first time in a year and a half, you're going to get, like, I know how you said, you know, it might not be that way when it's the 12th Dynamite, but the first two it has. I think it might be that way when it's the 12th Dynamite because they're going to be going to these cities for the first time in a year and a half. And those fans are pumped, ready, riled up, ready to go, right? You know, the first time they come to Boston and I'm at an event, whether it's AEW, NXT, WWE, who cares? You bet your ass. When I get into that building, I'm gonna have goosebumps, and I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, all right, it's been too friggin' long. Like, let's go." You know, like, and I think a lot of us feel that way. And yeah, man, you should be optimistic. We should be excited. And then they drop the Goldberg news, and I'm like, "What the hell, bro? Damn it!"
They do that to us, man. They get us pumped, they get us excited, and like they start showing us all this new, and then they bring back the old. And
yeah.
I know the fan base out there is like, well, AEW brings back all these old people too. Yeah, but they don't put him in world title. Sting's not.
Yeah. What did Sting do? Sting did a cinematic match, and then he did a tag match,
and then he hit
in the middle of the card.
Hit Scorpio Sky with the trash can last night. Like, I can live with that. That's fine. You know, Arn Anderson's not out there, you know, challenging for the TNT title. You know, he's just. It's cool to see those old guys. Like, that's why I say it's cool to see the past stars on TV in some capacity. If you're going to put them in a major title picture like they do with Goldberg every time, make it make sense. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
100%. And like Joe said a little earlier in the comments, and Ecto, I do agree, AEW brings in people that people want to see. Like WWE, you know, and it's Goldberg. You know, I feel like it's really just Goldberg. And nobody wants to, like, the majority of people, I'm not going to say nobody because there's always somebody that, you know, likes something. But the majority of people, we don't want to see Goldberg. It doesn't matter. Like, that doesn't move the needle for us. So like Ecto says there, AEW, yeah, they might bring in the legends too, like they do, but they're bringing in legends that people want to see, or they show them in a way where it matters. Like, they had Conan and Tully Blanchard on TV the last couple weeks, but like they're using them in segments with people that matter, and it makes sense why they're there. And you know, and
storyline.
Exactly. And like Joe said a little earlier, he said those first few shows should be good. The real test will be if the fans keep coming back. I think the fans will keep coming back at first, like for a while. The real test to me, what I'm going to be viewing it, is the booking. Like, if you're going to go balls to the wall and give us some good shows for like the first couple weeks of fans back, you need to progressively be booking your show better. Because if you start falling into the same tropes that we've been complaining about forever, then you didn't learn anything from this last year and a half, and it's going to be the same old stuff, and that's going to make me not feel optimistic anymore, if that makes sense. You know?
Goldberg,
it's just like... Yeah.
Only good for my second favorite stat ever, and it's the how long is Goldberg's entrance versus how long he actually wrestled in a match.
Oh, yeah. But and the entrance is longer almost every time, I would assume.
And it's usually longer, and it's not even close. The only person that has that stat is Undertaker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a given. That's a given.
Those two definitely get their money's worth in terms of like, oh, I'm gonna have a 5-minute entrance and a 2-minute match. It's awesome.
All right. What else? Before we, we're gonna we have a draft this evening, per usual. We have a draft this evening. We're gonna be doing a full Money in the Bank preview.
Shame on all who voted for JPJ.
What do you mean shame, bro? I crushed you.
I think it was rigged.
What?
I think Spencer colluded with you, and because
I don't even know if Spencer even voted for me. He might have voted for you. Your list was fine. Not as good as mine, obviously. Hey, Big Ben, thank you for popping in. How we doing, man? Hope you're great. Goldberg and Bret Hart were the WCW Tag Team Champions, proving Bret Hart can do anything. It's true.
So we're going to do our draft. We usually do it at the end, but we're going to do that coming up right around now-ish. Because
I was gonna ask Ben. Thank you so much for the raid. We appreciate you and everyone else who just hopped in. We are Between Two Beards for Love Wrestling. Hopefully, we're going to be talking about a little bit Money in the Bank coming up, and like Pluggo just started, we're going to be jumping into our draft soon. I did win the NWO draft last week. So you can complain and you can say, "Oh, it was rigged." I won. So so what happened was I put a poll up for the lovely people, and the winning
Twitter page.
on our Twitter page on the Between Two Beards, I believe it is at B2Beards on the Twitter.
That is.
I also quote tweeted it on mine.
Because there's already a at Between Two Beards, but they haven't posted anything since like 2009.
Gotta love it. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Why, that's still active, and we couldn't get that one. But
right.
Anyway. Oh, I digress. But so the category for tonight's draft, which was voted on by the people, and we are a show for the people. Pizza toppings. That's a goodie. This is a goodie. But before we dive into that,
yes,
I did want to ask you, Pluggo, any other quick little one-hit topics in the wrestling world that you want to talk about before we dive into our draft, followed by our Money in the Bank preview? So I feel like those will probably take up the majority of the second half of the show. So I figured if there are any quick little one-hitters that you wanted to, see what I did there? If there are any one-hitters that you wanted to hit up and talk about before. I know you said you didn't see much of him and didn't watch a lot of him because of when you started watching wrestling, but we do want to send our condolences to the family and friends of Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. Obviously, he passed away earlier this week. I feel like, I'm glad I pleased Ben with my terrible potty humor. But anyway, he was in that main event for WrestleMania 1. He was Roddy Piper's partner against, most people remember Hogan, they remember Mr. T, they remember Piper, but I feel like Orndorff's the guy that most people don't remember was part of that match.
Ooh.
And he had a great heel turn. Obviously I didn't watch it live when it happened. I went back and I would rent tapes back when video stores were a thing, and I was an innocent child trying to watch as much wrestling as I could. He had a great heel turn on Hogan, somewhere in the mid 80s, 85, 86, around that time. The Real American theme song, he was the first one to come out to it. He was the first one to come out to theme music, I believe, or the first one to come out to the Real American theme song, and then Hogan kind of took it from him when Hogan was going to become the guy. So Jeremiah says he had a really good cage match with Hogan after the feud when he turned on Hogan. So like in that era, I started watching wrestling 91, 92, 93. He was in WCW at the time, and he was just Paul Orndorff. He was Paul Orndorff, but in WCW. So that is right. Big Ben is right. Slaughter was the first WWF to have theme music. Then I think it was Orndorff had Real American, or he came out to it once or something like that, and then they gave it to Hogan. But yeah, in that era, he seems to, and Joe says that Orndorff is better than Hogan. I mean, looking back on it now, there were a lot of people back then that were better than Hogan. There were a lot of people back then. But so I at least wanted to give the shout out, and obviously it's never good when we lose these legends and stuff like that. So I just want to say that and send our condolences to his family and friends and stuff like that, because obviously when you lose a legend, you want to at least mention it and honor him. So now that that's out of the way, anything else? Are we calling Goldberg the official joking moment of the week?
We
have to, right?
I think you kind of have to if that's where we're going to go with it. I mean, this week of wrestling was packed. I mean, MLW's back. Great American Bash Night 2 was a good one. Fighter Fest Night 1 last night was awesome.
What did you think of the coffin match? Let's talk about.
I dug it. I didn't think they were going to let Darby win it because, like I said, I thought that was a perfect opportunity to make Ethan Page, because I think Darby's bulletproof, as he proves when I bet he is sore this evening.
Yeah.
It is time here. I bet he woke up sore. I mean, that dude took the coffin drop, threw the coffin onto Page. It was a great match. I thought it was well done. I thought Fighter Fest was another really well done show. They had that standoff with Omega and Page.
So
wonderful.
good. So good.
I'm glad fans are back. Like I said, this week in wrestling, there was just a lot of good wrestling. And that's what we want to see. And like AEW gave us some really good storylines. And I thought Dakota Kai and Ember Moon put on a
great match
at the Great American Bash.
Mm-hmm.
I was very partial. I thought that was my match of the night personally, because I think Dakota Kai is fantastic. So other than, I mean, it's been a week.
It really has. It really has. And
shows indies are starting to really get into full swing. I mean, I think Wheeler Yuta had a good match with Guevara on Dynamite. I mean, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. And this weekend, we potentially the best is yet to come for the week of wrestling. I love him too. He wrestles recklessly and he doesn't hold anything back. And I feel like you're probably not wrong, Joe, that if he keeps on wrestling that way, it will be a shorter career. I wouldn't bank on him wrestling into his late 40s or anything if he's wrestling like this. I hope it's not the case.
I feel like he stated that he doesn't want to wrestle.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he wants to just do this for, few more years and get out. I think he's actually said that. I can't remember. I feel like I'm not saying that out of just context. I feel like he said like he wants to eventually get into doing like films and other things. But yeah, his style does not translate into like a 30-year wrestling career. But cringe every time I watch him. It just, I'm like, how does he do it? Because I mean, I'm sore getting out of bed in the morning, and coffin dropping through coffins. I'm just,
oh my god, and getting the ego's edge on the stairs. That was gnarly too.
And another Ethan Page looked like $1 million. I really would have liked to see him get the win. I'm excited to see. I thought Moxley and Carl Anderson killed it.
Yeah, they're very good.
Lance Archer next week is going to rule.
That's going to be good too.
Archer's going to lose another big title match, but hey.
Yeah. Yeah. It is what it is. Somebody's got to be that guy, and if Archer is cool with it, all right,
Hey, I'll take L's all day if they keep giving me a paycheck. I don't care.
Oh, yeah, that spot, Joe, that he does when he gets whipped through the turnbuckle like that, it is not like super scary looking. But he does. It just looks so good though when he does it. It's like, man. But yeah, so good. All right. I guess I'll give you the opportunity to try to redeem yourself. Please. All right.
Did you just please? Like I can hear you.
I did. I don't care. I love you. I don't care. I don't care.
I don't care. That took Rice Krispies in a cereal draft.
Oh yeah. I don't know why you're hating on Rice. I'm not doing it. All right, so
yes, I'm not doing it. We'll talk about
we had a little poll out on the Twitter machine, and we had some 4 categories for our draft tonight. And we let the people vote, and the people voted, and the winning category was pizza toppings. Everybody loves pizza. Who doesn't love pizza? Oh, gone. Pluggo. Jeez, scared me. I thought you dropped. But
killing the budget over here.
Like I said, who doesn't love pizza? Well, we got to pick 10 toppings, Joe. So someone might piss you off. I don't know though, but we'll see.
Drop pizza commentations in the comments. Your favorite pizza place? Like, let's talk pizza for.
Yeah, let's talk pizza. Everyone loves pizza. We're gonna have a 5-round pizza topping draft.
Just wrestling. We're talking pizza. We talking life. That's what we do here.
Yeah. So we're gonna go. I think, is it a custom that the loser goes first?
Oh, we were saying the winner got first pick, but hey.
Oh, word. No, I'll take it. I'll let you go. It doesn't matter. I wanted to follow the rules.
I don't know what the rules are.
All right. Well, I'm gonna decide that because I won the draft last time, I will let you go first.
Well, then I'm gonna take pepperoni right off the top.
I knew you would. That's why I let you go first. Because
I was nice and I left like Hogan on the board for you, which I think swung your votes. I'm going for a win here. I got to get back on the winning track. Pepperoni is the staple of pizza. You just can't go wrong.
Yeah, I don't like pepperoni. So, Well, here's the thing. Wait, time out. I'm gonna retract that. I'm gonna retract that for a second.
Leave it.
I'm gonna retract that for a second. I like pepperoni. However, I think pepperoni is an overrated pizza topping.
Dude, you are just spitting hot takes here.
Yeah, bro. I don't get. Dude, I don't get to be my size by not knowing my shit when it comes to certain things. All right.
Same JPJ in the comments. Team pepperoni for life.
Yeah. Well, Ed is correct. Cheese is better than pepperoni. However, cheese is, I don't consider it's a topping of pizza, but that's like the standard topping.
What about
However,
cheese?
well, that's my pick right here. First round. My favorite type of pizza. Good old standard extra cheese. That's what I'm taking. First round. Get at me. I'm not scared. I'm confident. Coming off a victory. Gonna win again. That's how we do it.
Cheese is awesome. I eat a lot of it. That's a good pick. But if I'm going number 2, second round, I'm taking sausage. I got pepperoni and sausage. That is like the Mario and Luigi of pizza toppings. Shout out producer Joe is playing Mario in our pre-show meeting. We love you,
right.
Joe. Without you, this show doesn't make it to 10 weeks. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Yes, I already two big boys off the board.
That's fine. That's fine. Sausage is great. Sausage is a great topping. And I look. If somebody offered me a slice of pepperoni pizza, I'm not saying no. Right? Like it's fine. I think pepperoni. I was more upset that you took sausage than you did pepperoni. However, my favorite meat topping is still out there.
Oh,
still out there. I'm not going to take it this round. What I'm going to do right now with my second pick is I'm going to take good old-fashioned barbecue chicken. Barbecue chicken pizza.
You're taking the whole barbecue chicken pizza, huh? Yeah.
Is that allowed, or are we only doing one single topping?
Barbecue chicken is phenomenal.
That's would that be a fair? If I said barbecue chicken,
that's fine.
Is that a fair?
I think I'm still. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. Oh yeah, I'm going BBQ chicken.
Hey, that is a fantastic choice. That's what I usually go with more often than not. Because hot take alert, I don't like a lot of different pizza sauces because I'm not a tomato person. So I usually opt for
okay.
The sauce has to, I'm a weird guy. Like the sauce has to be, I can't really do like chunky sauce.
Yeah.
I got to go basic. So if you're taking that, that's fine. I'm going to just go ahead and take bacon off the board. Sausage, pepperoni, bacon. I'm rocking a very bacon. You can't go wrong with bacon if you don't like.
Where are the vegetables? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, this is my pizza. Don't worry, they're coming. They're coming.
You're just building a meat lover's pizza with your 5 picks. That's what you're doing. You're like, I'm just gonna build
staple at the Pluggo household as it is right now. Drop
all right
topics in the comments. Let's hear them, fans. What do we got? We got somebody saying.
Chicken Mediterranean. That sounds friggin' good. I don't know I'm assuming chicken, maybe some olives. I don't know.
Amen.
I don't know. All right. All right. My third pick, I'm going to take what is my favorite topping on a pizza, and I think the most underrated. I don't think people ordered enough, and if you haven't ordered this on a pizza, you need to. I'm going meatball. Meatball. If you have never had a meatball as the topping on your pizza, order it as a topping on your pizza. It will change your pizza life. I promise you.
Be more on there. They don't put as many meatballs because they cut them in half.
Yeah, no, it's true. It depends. But man, I'm telling you.
I did have a certain flatbread meatball. I'm not going to shout them out because they're not our sponsor. Real Athletics is our sponsor. Go follow them on Twitter. They're killing it. And we appreciate all the love that they give Love Wrestling. But I had the meatball pepperoni like sandwich thing. You know what I'm talking about there, DeMarco.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
So now that I've got the 3 killer toppings, I'm gonna go with onion. I'm putting onion on this pizza.
All right.
I mean, whoo. We're talking. See, I put my vegetable in. Don't worry.
Well, no, it's okay because I'm going the same route. You took onions. I'm going peppers. I'm going to go green pepper. Green pepper.
Very nice. There's not a whole lot of like you can say about green pepper, right? It's good. It is what it is.
Yeah, just solid, you know.
It's kind of like Goldberg wrestling, you know. It's there. Well, then for the 5th round and the last picks that you left it for me, I'm taking banana peppers, baby.
Oh,
dude, I love this pizza. I'm not kidding. If Mrs. Pluggo is watching or listening, any pizza we get has to have the banana pepper and the onion on it, and it works with everything. So, again, I'm not picking for the fans. I'm picking because I got to eat this, right? Kind of like I got flamed for the Cool Runnings pick. I got to watch the movie, not you.
Yep.
Jalapeno,
jalapeno, good one. It's a good one.
It is. You like heartburn?
Yeah. Man.
Pick that pizza with a side of Pepto-Bismol, baby.
Right. All right.
Oh, the pressure's on now. I think I got this in the bag. Who do y'all think?
You know, you got some good ones there. I got some strong competition. You know what? I'm going to go with good old-fashioned black olives.
All right.
That's what I'm going to go.
I like black olives. I just don't really go out of my way to eat them, but they're fine on a pizza. No complaints. Supreme pizza, black olive.
Yeah, that is true.
It's safe to say I think I won.
Well, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. You probably did.
Well, always we put it to a vote.
We're gonna put it to a vote.
Yeah.
Wait, who said something about spinach?
Oh, spinach on a pizza.
I mean, Jeremiah he's pissed. He's pissed, but I don't. Who said it?
Oh, he said it's revolting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind spinach on. I mean,
I eat spinach all the time.
I like spinach, and I am on the side of pineapple on pizza. I am on the side of it.
Are you?
I am. Yeah, it's not something I order hardly ever, but like, you know, if you said, "Hey, I want a Hawaiian pizza," I would go in on it with you. I'd be like, "Fine, cool with that."
It's a solid JPJ.
No, I have not. I have not had espresso's pizza.
I've got this body clear because I eat a lot of vegetables.
I actually had barbecue chicken pizza for dinner tonight. That's how I roll.
We had I hadn't had dinner yet.
Well, bro, 9:15 for God's sakes. Anyway,
I had sand pasta.
All right. So be on the lookout after this show or some point tomorrow on the at B2 Beards.
Twitter page.
On the Twitter page, we will put out the poll results. We usually leave it up there for a good 4 or 5 days because obviously we're not back until next Thursday. And then whoever wins will be in charge of deciding what our draft will be for next week on our 11th episode extravaganza.
Because that right there.
Yes. Tomorrow night, Spencer and Pluggo are battling in a pick'em contest on Throwbacks channel.
So I'll tweet out the links and stuff because I think Spencer's probably, too busy
doing his research.
He's got to do tons of research and win probably. I'm just going to show up and outpick him.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
That's what we do around here. We don't mess around.
So if we make it to the 11th episode bash next week, that'll be awesome. Hopefully we'll be there because, that's what we do. Hopefully he'll keep the lights on for us.
Yeah. Throwback. Have a good rest of your night. Thanks for hopping in. Thanks for participating in the chat. If you are in the chat, before we move on to our Money in the Bank preview, if you have any last opinions on pizza or pizza toppings and to tell me that I'm the best and I'm going to win again, please do. It's great. Thank you. I appreciate that greatly. All right.
People are just afraid to end up in Spencer's office. That's why they always cite.
I'm not.
I'm over here just like, I'll go for it. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you try to get into that office. That's like your weekly goal is how the hell can I get Spencer to yell at me?
Very nice office. If anybody's not been in Spencer Love's office, it's very nice. And I mean, he yells and screams and tells me to stop blowing the budget and stop buying, fire.
Yeah.
But he keeps putting us out here. So he's got like a nice little like spread of like different artisanal waters, and infused waters, and like it's
Infused
nice.
water.
And,
It is, dude.
you
I
know,
mean,
it's better than what I've got going on here. So
yeah, it's the little things that make the difference, you know? So you see things like that and you're like, what? Cucumber water?
I know. I gotta come. How do I get back here next week? Oh, just say
Oh, I want to make sure I say this right. A hero pizza.
Ooh,
Hero.
that'd be good.
That would be good. We have, where I live, we have a hero joint literally like 2 buildings down from me. And they make the best heroes I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
I love mushrooms on pizza. Now I'm angry that I forgot about mushrooms as a topping. Damn it. But I love mushrooms on pizza. Bitch. That should have been on my top 5. Anyway.
Next week.
I'm going to be thinking about that. I'm going to lose sleep because I didn't think of mushrooms.
That's all right. We can stay up and watch Cool Runnings tonight.
I'm down, bro. You let me know.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk some money in the bank, huh?
Let's get what the people are here for.
Let's go. It's a wrestling podcast, for Christ's sake. What the hell are you two talking about friggin' pizza for? Anyway. Sorry.
It's what we do.
Yeah.
I can't help it. If you want insightful wrestling talk, you should have tuned in the other day.
Yeah.
Sunday brunch.
Yeah. You know what we talk about here? Anything. Literally anything.
We try to avoid the wrestling.
All right.
I will preface, I love the Money in the Bank concept. It's one of my favorite gimmick matches or pay-per-views of the year because it, in my opinion, it symbolizes a new start, like a new beginning. This is your chance to put somebody that we weren't expecting into the title picture without actually like putting them into the title picture. I love it. I love
100%.
it. Yeah, so
100%. And
so we got gonna be a good one.
Oh yeah. And the men's lineup for this Money in the Bank match, and we'll get into it when we talk about it, but it might be the best ensemble of guys in that single match maybe ever.
Yeah.
Like it is loaded. It is a loaded match.
Drop in the comments, who do you guys got winning Money in the Bank and taking the briefcase home on Sunday?
Yes.
And points, let us know how long they're going to hold the briefcase. Will we see a cash?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to say, because, we have seen him cash in that same night. You never know. All right. So we have as of right now, and there still is a SmackDown to get through tomorrow, but right now we have 6 matches on this card.
Here am I.
Yeah.
Be fun.
Oh, I would be A-okay with that. I would be A-okay with that. All right. So we will start at the bottom of the list. It is for the Raw Tag Team Champions. It is AJ Styles and Omos going against the Viking Raiders. What do you think about
rating machine?
Yes. What do you think about this? You think AJ and Omos hang on to it and they do something big at SummerSlam? We think we get a title change? What are we thinking?
I just realized something. I'm doing these picks against Spencer tomorrow. So I'm kind of tipping my hand, or am I?
Yeah, I don't know.
You never know.
You could give me all answers tonight and then flip the script.
I can't. So I guess. So anyway, so I think AJ and Almost are doing their thing and it's working for me. I kind of like it. I kind of dig the vibe that they're giving off. But at some point, I think again, it's AJ Styles. Is this where you want to keep him?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know he recently made some comments about putting over talent, and that's why he's in this spot. So maybe you could see the Viking Raiders winning it. I just, I don't think it's going to happen this week. I think AJ and Almost get it done. And then,
I agree.
Then later on, maybe SummerSlam, you crown a new champion, big moment kind of deal.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think that's where they're going to lead. Oh, got a run in.
We got a run in. It sounds like we got a run in coming. Someone's pissed. Oh, Josh, hello. How are you, my friend? Good to see you hop in. Thank you for hopping on in. We're just about starting our Money in the Bank preview.
And if you're listening to this and you follow Josh on Twitter, send him Eric Bischoff gifts. He would appreciate it.
Absolutely. And not I'm sure he would appreciate gifts.
Gifts.
But gifts. GIFS. But I'm sure if
the
you
G-
wanted to send Josh Eric Bischoff gifts,
Yeah.
he would appreciate those too.
Is it a silent J?
Parrish says, could this be a match where they tease a potential split for I believe that's supposed to say Almost and AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could maybe see like almost cost him, but AJ Styles is AJ Styles, right? And then he starts to like, oh, I'm kind of carrying you type deal, or vice versa. Hell, have Almost turn on AJ because Almost has been doing a lot of heavy lifting lately.
Yes, he has. I
mean, I think
all right.
It's for their eventual breakup because, like I said, it's AJ freaking Styles. I think he's bigger than the Raw tag titles.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then we have the next match we have for the Raw Women's Championship. We have Rhea Ripley going 1-on-1. Oh, Josh with that silver fox. So, Eric Bischoff is one. And from one silver fox to the next, I fully agree. He is.
What's it like to be a silver fox, JPJ? Well, I have like a little bit of silver popping, a little bit here and there, but I'm not quite there yet.
It's not bad. I feel like people respect me more. I don't know why. I think people think I'm smarter than I am because I have, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not. I'm an idiot.
Is that why I was like, JPJ is amazing? But
yeah, you're like, oh, everyone's like, man, he's so good. It's like, hey, it definitely adds to the intrigue. It makes you look like, again, I'm an idiot. I'm not going to think of the word, but people distinguished. They're like, oh, look at this guy.
So I've got something to look forward to. Maybe people.
Yeah.
It.
So Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. Jeremiah said Rhea all the way. I agree with Jeremiah. I think.
Did the Silver Fox say? I do not know, Parrish. What did the Silver Fox say? That he's back and better than ever.
There you go. And he has aged like a fine wine. That is true. That is true. I agree with all the Eric Bischoff praise. That one's for you, Pluggo.
Oh, wicked title, Pluggo. I want you to win, but Spencer and I probably need to face each other.
Oh no! This is something.
It got heated yesterday on the old Twitterverse. All I did.
Did it? Was there some heat between Spencer and Drew?
All I said. These are like, this is how Spencer picks. This is how I pick, and clearly I always pick winners, and he does not. And Drew chimed in because Drew wants that title too, and so we'll see what happens.
You know who else wants that title?
JPJ.
Yeah. You know who's been quiet? Who's been quiet about it because he's just going to win? JPJ. That's how that goes. Quiet assassin over here.
Heck
I don't talk trash.
You're just going to steal the
I do my work in the ring.
All I'm going to say
I do my work.
If that title ends up on this show, I don't care.
Oh, it's ending up on the show.
Me and you in the finals, I'm game.
Yeah, whatever.
But anyway, speaking of title matches.
I do agree with Jeremiah. He also had a comment that said Charlotte doesn't need a title win right now. I agree with that as well, but that has never stopped WWE from giving Charlotte a title.
She's Charlotte.
So, yeah, it's one of those things where I agree with you 100%. She does not need it. She does not need it right now. However, does she have 13 reigns now? 13, 14, something like that? Of those reigns, I would say about 6 of them, she didn't need a title win.
No.
She didn't need a title win.
When you're picking a Charlotte Flair match and you do confidence points, which we don't, you would always put the least amount of confidence points in a Charlotte Flair match because at any given moment they could just say, you know what, let's get her another one here. And if we're being honest, and I hate to say it because I love Rhea Ripley, it hasn't exactly been like a setting the world on fire type run. But I also think that that's because there's no fans, right? So when you kind of get her in front of some fans, I think they'll see what they have, see how the fans respond to Rhea, and then I think they'll make that decision. Again, I see that as like a SummerSlam decision. You give her a few weeks with this run, and I don't think that she's done with Charlotte as much as I think that she should be done with Charlotte. Move on to somebody else. Maybe that's where a Becky Lynch steps in. That'd be a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Rhea. I'm not overly confident about it because of the Charlotte effect, but it's got to be. I think you just got to see what you have in Rhea in front of an audience for a few weeks before you decide to just pull the plug on it.
I would agree with that. I would 100% agree with that. All right. We then have, sticking with the Raw train, the WWE Championship match between the champion, the almighty Bobby Lashley, defending against Kofi Kingston.
Kofi. Has this been a fun build or what?
It has. I think this is one of the bright spots on Raw. For, you know, as much as we all get on Raw, I think Raw has been good here. This has been good with Xavier intertwined, and Kofi has had a couple killer promos.
Call me crazy. They're using the history of MVP, you know, crying over Kofi winning. They're using all of it, and they're paying it off as a fan, right? That's what we like, is you're paying off us being invested in your product.
Yep, 100%.
I don't think Kofi wins it because, like, the Goldberg news, and that's why it's weird that they dropped that today. Because now you're going into Sunday knowing that the ultimate goal is Lashley and Goldberg.
Yeah.
I wish they would have waited or maybe announced it at Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Hey, Goldberg will be back next week or Monday or Friday or whatever he decides to. Could be Friday.
Yeah.
Now you're sitting there going, it's got to be Lashley because that's the goal.
Yeah. And our buddy Drew, he just wrote in the chat this right here. He said Lashley had an incredible ending to Raw on Monday that really got me invested. I think that was the best promo that Lashley has ever done in WWE.
He said bullshit on TV?
Yep, said, got right in MVP's face, and he was like, hey, man, I appreciate you, but the bullshit needs to stop. And it was unreal. And then he was just pacing back and forth, looking right dead at the camera. Oh, man, that was – I think personally that was the best promo he's done in WWE.
I still pop for the curse words because, like,
oh yeah, it's great.
Growing up, and I'm aging myself here, you couldn't say that stuff on TV. Even
never.
TV, it was like no. And that's just the era I grew up in. And I know we had the Attitude Era, but you couldn't even say it then.
Nope.
And now they're just dropping them here and there, and I still go, "Oh my God, did he just say that?"
You're right.
So
no, it's so good.
I can't help myself.
All right. I'm going with Bobby Lashley here. Yeah. I would love Kofi to win.
Yeah, Kofi needs another run.
Yeah, I would love Kofi. You know, I was chatting with Spencer the other day, and we were talking about SummerSlam and just stuff like that, and we were just kind of shooting the shit. And the way that Kofi Kingston lost to Brock Lesnar on that SmackDown to lose the title, that very rarely do I get like angry at wrestling, like really like bothered by, but like that really pissed me off. Like I was like, come on, man.
They did
come on.
To further the Cain Velasquez thing, and that didn't do anything. They chopped off their nose to save their face to have Cain Velasquez and Brock Lesnar, and where's Cain Velasquez now? Yeah.
And it was just like, man. That moment at WrestleMania when Kofi won that title was special. That's something they're going to show forever. I think his title reign was good. Like he had a good feud with Orton. Might have went a tad too long, but like he had a good run, and they just threw it away like it was nothing. He didn't even get he jumped into an F5 and it was over. And it was like, man, like it was just so disappointing. Not because of Brock. Like Brock's great. I like Brock. I'm a pro Brock guy, but like. Oh, man, that really just irked me. And ever since, they've never really addressed it a ton up until now, a little bit. And it's like, that guy, like you said, Kofi deserves another run at some point. So, like, if he were to win on Sunday and that crowd, like, I would be popping just like that crowd will be popping if he would. Yeah, he's not going to.
Goldberg's just going to smash.
Exactly. He's not going to. And like Jeremiah says in the chat, like I'd much rather see Kofi and this keep going to SummerSlam rather than Goldberg or Oldberg. But I also would much rather, if Goldberg is the plan, I'd much rather him deal with Lashley than deal with Kofi, because I think Goldberg would probably go over on Kofi, and then I would really lose my mind. And Parrish even meant like I would be okay with that. Well, yeah, it's true. If Joe couldn't get a true match versus Brock, why does Kofi was the world champion going into it for like 6 or 7 months at the time. Like Samoa Joe was the up and comer, not in wrestling, like not in his career terms, but in WWE, like that was like a one of the first bigger main roster moments for him. So like Joe had much more of a real match than Kofi had. Like it was quick, but it was at least a match. Like Joe got him in the chokehold, and Joe had some offense and stuff like that. Kofi literally, the bell rang, and he literally ran and jumped into an F5.
Kind of like Spencer's going to do tomorrow night.
Wow. Coming for the boss. Coming for the boss.
Hey,
but
I'm
anyway,
the one that set the matchup.
Yeah, that we're getting off track. But I obviously with the Goldberg news, I mean, I was leaning Bobby Lashley anyway.
Yeah.
But with the Goldberg news, it's pretty much
because it looks good on a marquee. Lashley, Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be 5 minutes and we'll be done with it because poor Kofi. But we move on.
All right. And Parrish, don't get me wrong. I don't think Kofi should have beat Brock. But I think Kofi deserved to get a punch.
Get more than 8 seconds.
He deserved more than 6 seconds. Like you could have done an easy 3, 4, 5, 6 minute sprint with Kofi and Brock, where Kofi got a couple moves in, maybe outwitted Brock, like he's faster than him, whatever, and then Brock ends it and it's over. I had no doubt. I knew Brock was winning the title. That's not my beef.
There was 10 minutes left in that episode.
Yeah, like my beef is not about Brock winning the title or Brock winning the match. My beef is you made Kofi's entire title reign irrelevant because you made him look like a damn fool.
For Cain Velasquez.
And it just the way it was booked was just not the way it should have been booked.
Because I think he had knee problems from the jump. So he barely could wrestle to begin with. That's why their match wasn't that great at whatever the Saudi Arabia show. Yeah. So and then he was never anything after that, and he was gone.
Yeah, and like Drew said, like with the match with Ricochet at the Saudi show, Ricochet got more offense in than Kofi. He got a move in, and then Brock dismantled him.
Brock Lesnar has gotten more offense in than Kofi did. Everybody so far.
Exactly.
Daniel Bryan did it. You know, Ricochet.
Yeah, it just didn't. To me, it just rubbed me the wrong way. I was just like, all right, cool. I'm glad that's great. But all right. So now we have the Universal Championship match. We will save the 2 Money in the Bank matches for the end, the last 2. It is the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against Edge. I mean, I feel like this one, like the Bobby Lashley one, it's kind of a no. Roman's going to win. I don't see Roman losing ever at this moment. So
I don't know why they're running this one back, because it's just I know Edge is bulletproof, so he could take the L, but I would have liked to see Edge maybe move on to like a Seth Rollins and maybe make that then you get the Tribal Chief. But you got to put Reigns in front of fans. I get it at your big, pay-per-view return. But I just don't see anybody beating Roman, and I don't see how Edge this time has some kind of edge, no pun intended, to take him down. So,
I think. Well, I think the plan is it's going to be Rollins and Edge at SummerSlam. I think that'll be probably the direction they're going to go. Until Survivor Series. I have them keeping that belt on him until
Mania
2024. Yeah. I mean, who's gonna? Right now, I don't even think they have anybody on the roster that I could see beating him.
No,
if we're talking about Roman still.
The way you're gonna beat him is some crazy. It's got to be some crazy thing that you're getting a bunch of people involved. But why take the belt off him? It's the best thing going on WWE television right now as a story.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the most intriguing things to me is Roman has built this character, and he's built this all-time run that he's on right now with no crowd. And with no crowd, he's been able to stay the course and stay as a heel and do these things. And I wonder if that changes at all, because I feel like when he gets in front of people, they're not going to boo him. People still will, but I feel like a lot of people are going to give him the respect. Yeah, dude, you're awesome. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've wanted from you forever. Yeah. And you're awesome. We like you. And I wonder how that potentially changes the trajectory of where they have him going. If all of a sudden they're still presenting him as this evil godfather, tribal chief type character, but every time he comes out in the ring, the crowd is like, yeah, dude, we love this Roman. Like, we love this Roman.
Which is great.
It's something to see.
But I think the fans for the first few weeks, or at least this first week, I think they're going to go along with it. You know, I think they're going to try to take over the show. So I think they're booing him probably out the gate Friday and Money in the Bank. But then you're going to see, like, you know, like I said, a few months down, they're going to start to kind of like, they're going to give him his respect.
Yeah. But it could be one of those things, though, where is the respect us booing him? You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where, like,
6 years.
Yeah, we've been booing him for 6 years. It's nothing new. You know, I agree with Joe. I do think turning him face is a bad idea. I think they just got to stay the course. But it's one of those things where, I'm very intrigued to see how the fans react to Roman. I feel like it was a mixed bag at Mania, but it wasn't a full crowd, and it's one show. Right. You know, so yeah, I don't know. It's very intriguing to see how the fans react to a lot of things that have been being presented, but the Roman stuff that's what I'm intrigued to see how the fans react to him.
But he'll get it done, and then I think Edge do something at SummerSlam with maybe some or because they teased that on Friday.
Yeah, they teased that. I think Parrish said earlier that he thinks that Seth might get even involved in this match and kind of cost Edge, which I could easily see happening. And then they'll kind of go in that direction, and then we'll get John Cena coming back in a week or two, and we'll get Roman and Cena at SummerSlam potentially, and that's where we're heading.
Why not?
All right, some more news that WWE released today. They released the final competitor in the women's Money in the Bank.
And it's a big one.
Yep, it is. So the full roster of participants in the women's Money in the Bank, we have Asuka, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, and Nikki Ash representing Raw. That's right, Nikki Ash.
So pops me, Nikki Ash.
And then representing SmackDown, we have Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, and we have the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, both Natalya and Tamina. I know who I am rooting for to win. I don't know if they're essentially – I think it's going to be my pick too. I was waiting to see who that eighth person was because there were rumors that it could be Sonya Deville. There were rumors that it could even be Becky Lynch. And obviously that would have changed how I felt about this match. I do agree, Joe, it is a tad odd putting the tag champs in a match that doesn't involve the titles. However, these are literally, besides Carmella and I'm drawing a blank on and Bianca, besides Carmella, Bayley, and Bianca, these are literally all the women on SmackDown. This is all SmackDown has. So
that's why they brought up Tegan
they brought up Tegan and Shotzi now. I mean, I would have been okay with throwing some new blood in there and letting them do some stuff. But I don't know. It's bizarre. No, I don't think Sonya injures Liv. I think if anything, it would be either Natalya or Tamina that would be. I don't think that's out of play, Parrish, either. I don't think tomorrow night on SmackDown, whether it is Sonya or Becky or someone, I don't think them having an angle of someone being taken out, even if it's on Sunday before the match, I don't think that's necessarily – I think that could be a possibility, but I don't think it would be Liv that would get taken out. I think they're planning a bigger storyline with Liv, the way that they've been doing things. And right now, with these 8 women in the match, Liv Morgan is actually my pick.
Yeah.
She's actually the one I want to win, and she's my pick to win the briefcase.
Yeah. I mean, and that, to me, that's not a bad pick. And I think that unless you've got a plan to, like, screw over Bianca Belair right away, which you don't because her opponent was Bayley up until last week.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
probably talk about
have
that
to pull the cash in tomorrow night or Sunday night. And Liv, you could put that briefcase on her and do what you did with Carmella and just have her hold it for.
Yeah,
it puts credibility on her. It keeps her in the conversation without actually putting her in the conversation. Like I said earlier. So I could see Liv winning it. If I was going to go against the grain, wouldn't it make sense in storyline that Alexa Bliss wins this thing since she can just hypnotize everybody?
I mean, yeah, she was the second one.
She just
she could Liv Morgan and
everybody's done. She just goes like this, and you stop moving.
Yeah,
when I was kind of weird that she's in the match.
Yeah, when I was thinking about it, Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss were the two that I were like, okay, I think those are the two that I'm leaning towards.
Because I don't think
winning.
we need to see Asuka have it. She had it last year.
I would love Naomi to have it. That'd be great. Right. Kind of boost her back up because she deserves better.
Yes.
I think Nikki Cross doing it. There's the plug by Parrish. My pick is check out the POS show. Please do. We'll be plugging all the Love Wrestling stuff at the end of the show. But yes, this Sunday.
Nikki Ash thing gives me Otis vibes. I don't think
if she were to win, you're saying if she were to win? Yeah.
I still to this day, and I will die on one of this is a small wrestling hill. I think Otis got screwed because they didn't have fans.
100%.
But I think giving it to a comedy wrestler last year and how it just didn't play out, I think they'll avoid the Nikki Ash thing. I think she's gonna have a good showing. She'll probably have a couple like hope spots, but I can't see them doing it again.
Yeah.
And that's not her fault.
No.
It's the Otis effect, in my opinion. I think that they learned their lesson, or at least they're going to hold off.
Poor Otis.
Huh? Yeah,
Otis I feel bad. I love Otis. Like I love that story with Mandy. Like that was going to be. That would have been one of the big moments of WrestleMania in front of fans when that moment happened. When and they still did it in front of no one, but like with him winning her at WrestleMania 36 and them kissing and stuff like that. If that would have happened in front of a crowd, that would have been one of the bigger pops of the night. I believe that. Like that guy was over. That guy was over.
Girl in front of 80,000 people. That's money.
Yeah, and very unfortunate kind of his trajectory and how that went when
and they
the no
played
fans.
It as Mandy was into him, not the other way around.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
I just think they'll stay away from the comedy aspect of things this year. Just as, like I said, they just tried it, they fumbled it bad, and I think they want to distance themselves from that. Like I said, this is an opportunity to give someone like Liv Morgan a shot.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I think the fans are behind her enough that we want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else in the match either doesn't need it or outside of Naomi, I think she needs it. I think everybody else would be fine.
Yeah.
Bliss has got her own thing going on. Asuka's bulletproof.
Yeah. And then we get this men's Money in the Bank match.
Stacked.
I said it at the top of our preview here. This might be the most stacked men's Money in the Bank match ever, or at least in a long time. So we have John Morrison,
Johnny
Ricochet, Drip Drip, John Morrison, Ricochet, Riddle.
God, they're going to do some cool spots.
Yeah, dude. Riddle and Drew McIntyre representing Raw, and representing SmackDown, we have Big E, Kevin Owens, Shinsuke King Nakamura
with Boogs, baby.
With Boogs and Seth Rollins.
We need Boogs on our show.
I know that'd be awesome. That is a field of 8 right there. That is a major field of 8. That is good Lord. This is going to be a crazy match.
I pop for Money in the Bank ladder matches, man. I love the hope spots. I love the ladder spots.
Yeah.
And with Ricochet and Morrison right there, that's a ticket seller because you know that they're going to do some crazy stuff.
Yes.
Shit. They're going to do some crazy shit. We can say that on this show.
Yeah, we can. I agree with Drew. Those are the two people that stick out to me as who I think it should be. I'm going Big E. I think they're going to give. I think I'm going Big E.
So,
I could look at any one of these guys could win it, right? Like if any one of them won it, I'd be like, all right, yeah, cool. I would love Ricochet. That'd be awesome. Kevin Owens is my favorite person on the main roster. So him getting the briefcase, I think the crowd would be ready for him to be the champion again. Like, he's a guy that I think everyone likes and respects.
And he can toy with Roman a lot.
Oh, yeah. And they have a history, and Roman still never beat him clean. Never beat him clean. But I think, like Joe says there, like, I think Big E needs to – I want Big E in the world title picture. I want that guy in the world title picture. I want him to win. Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at. Nakamura, I would love. Rollins doesn't need it. McIntyre has been in the world. He needs to do something else.
Yeah.
And that's nothing against him. He was great. And he carried that. He carried Raw, and he carried that WWE title for the majority of the pandemic Thunderdome era, and he deserves credit for that.
Yep.
But he needs to go in a different direction and kind of get away from the title for a bit, or go to SmackDown, or he needs something new.
This is what you want out of your Money in the Bank, right? You want to have 8 options of guys that you just could all see holding it. And I'm trying to process, and just to go a little different than you, just for shits and giggles, I'm going to go with Riddle, right?
I'm okay with that too.
A bro storyline with him holding the briefcase and
and Randy being kind of pissed.
Advice, and Randy kind of getting pissed that like he's not in the match and he should have been in the match. But I think you could tell a fun story there. And I love the whole I'm going to have Randy come over for spaghetti dinner, and I'm going to make it out of real spaghetti. And I was just like, oh, that would be perfect. So I think they go to Raw with it.
Yeah.
Because of Roman. It's more likely that you'll beat Lashley than you'll beat Roman. But again, I think you nailed it. Like, Kevin Owens would tell a great story. I think Big E could have a lot of fun with that briefcase, and he's not doing anything since he's not Intercontinental Champion now. So, I mean, if I'm a betting man, it's going to be between Big E and Riddle for me. I don't want to give away too many of my secrets because, I know Spencer.
Yeah, and I get it. I get it.
I know what he's doing right now.
Yeah, he's taking notes, man.
Oh,
he's not in the chat right now because he's writing down notes.
He can't be chatting note writing. I get it.
Exactly. Yeah, so I mean,
man, I think it's going to be a killer.
Oh man, I'm ready for it. I think. I'm
pretty sure I was immediately in our, to pull the curtain back. I was like, I want to be on the Reacts on Sunday.
Oh yeah, there will be a Reacts on Sunday. Oh, there will be.
That for love Reacts, baby.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that was the Money in the Bank preview. I think we're in line for a good, starting with SmackDown tomorrow, which I'm very excited for. I think we're in line for a really good potential special weekend from WWE. And that Money in the Bank card is loaded. That's a loaded card. And specifically that men's Money in the Bank ladder match has the potential with those guys, that caliber of talent in there, to be one of the all-timers.
And I wonder I wonder where they placed it on the card, right? The Money in the Bank is always where the match lands on the card. Do they end with that, or do they put it in and then kind of tease like him stand? You know what I'm saying? Whoever wins, standing at the stage with whoever they're, that's always intriguing for me on those Money in the Bank pay-per-views.
Oh yeah, the way that they build the card, because you have your 2 world title matches. So every other match is a title match, and then you have your 2.
Yep.
Money in the Bank. So usually I feel like they always open with one of them. Then you're going to have your tag title match, maybe your one of the world titles, the women,
I'd open with the men's.
I would open with the men's 100%. I think that's what I would do.
And then have that overhang all night.
Imagine that, like you're in the arena, first time full crowd back in an arena, and the first match that these people see are those 8 guys just balls to the wall. Money in the Bank ladder match, like just doing crazy shit.
30 minutes to just
like 30, 35, 40 minutes of just insanity. Yeah. That crowd will be losing their minds.
You got to start hot.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be great. All right, Pluggo, we got about another 5 or 10 minutes before we get out of here. People in the chat, if there's any questions, anything you want to talk about that happened this week, wrestling, we can talk more Money in the Bank. We can talk anything you guys want. So throw some questions out there. Before we get to our plugs and goodbyes in about 5 minutes or so. Joe says he thinks the men should be last so you don't burn the audience. That is true too. you could go that way. I think I don't know if the audience could possibly be burnoutable when it comes to Sunday.
No, I
Just because of the last year and a half, I think it's just rearing ready to go. And I think there's a way that if you start with a match like that, you can set up the next couple matches to be, if the match right after that is AJ and Omos versus the Viking Raiders, like, yeah, that match should be solid, but that's not going to blow anybody's socks off. You know what I mean? So that's the type of match that you're like, okay, for the next 10 to 15 minutes, we can kind of come down a little bit. And then you can kind of hopefully build back up to but you could start with the woman, if you starting with the Money in the Bank match, no matter what you do, you're not going to go wrong, right? You could start with the women and that match will probably be great too. And then, I would think Roman and Edge would end the show. I think Roman is the show ender from here on out for the most part.
I hate when he's not the main event. It's
yeah,
weird like when they put that cage Hell in the Cell match or whatever that was on. Like,
yeah,
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, so I feel like even though the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, I feel like the majority of us feel like that's probably going to be the best show on the card. I don't see anybody but Roman main eventing. That's
why then you have maybe the winner come out at the end and
that's like to bring back what Parrish said earlier with the Roman and Edge thing. Maybe Seth loses his mind and goes a little more crazy because he doesn't win the briefcase. And then Roman and Edge are at the end and he kind of loses it and goes, no, this should be me in this match, not Edge. What the hell? And he kind of gets involved. And then that's how you kind of go from A to B. So there's a lot of things you can do.
Interesting ways they can go, for sure.
A lot of things you can do. Exciting and intriguing time, for sure. Jeremiah saying that the Money in the Bank match should be back on WrestleMania. If they were to get rid of the pay-per-view, I would not be opposed to that. I loved it when it was on WrestleMania. It was another attraction match to the biggest show of the year. But again, I think the Money in the Bank pay-per-views are routinely one of the best of the year. So as long as
the gimmick match I'd get rid of is Hell in the Cell.
Yes, 100%. 100%. I think that's the one we all need to breathe when it comes on Hell in a Cell. If Hell in a Cell went away for a year or two, and then all of a sudden in a big feud, there was a Hell in a Cell, we would care about a Hell in a Cell.
Absolutely. Or Extreme Rules could go away because they don't really do it the way they used to. This one is a nice, like I said, it's a good barometer for the next year if they decide to hold on to the belts.
It would be a great one-night tournament, Joe. Speaking of Hell in a Cell, what if they got rid of Hell in a Cell and they brought back King of the Ring, like Jeremiah just said right there?
Yes,
I'd be more than okay with that.
Because I
love King of the Ring.
Filling out brackets. I like tournaments. I love it.
And you could do both. You could do King of the Ring, men and women's. Make it a pay-per-view. That's it, man. We're just having a ton of matches. That's it. We're doing a King of the Ring, men's, and Queen of the Ring.
That would even be fun if they just did it as like a network special, like kind of just threw it at you now that they've got crowds back. You could, hey, we're in Dallas, Texas this week for a special King of the Ring tournament, and just do it and that gives something for somebody to do. Instead of fighting over a crown that they're doing with Nakamura and Corbin after years. It's been years. It's been like 2 years.
It's been 2 years, and they're fighting over
that means nothing.
A crown that means nothing. So, why don't you just have a new tournament?
Yes.
And you have plenty of people on the roster, obviously. So, obviously on the men's side, but you have plenty of people on the roster for a Queen of the Ring on the women's side too. So, I think those are things that should happen. And I think when they come back, regardless of what you think of Corbin after he won it, but that King of the Ring tournament that they did 2 years ago was awesome. Chad Gable and him, that whole story they told, that was all those matches were bangers.
How about bring back Evolution?
Oh, wow.
Please. Evolution 2 would be great.
Yeah. Yeah. You could do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff they could do that I think fans would be excited for. Big time.
Super.
All right, Pluggo. That's it. We made it through.
We made it through our 10 episodes.
We made it through our 10th episode. Next week, we will be back at 8 Wait, is next week? No, not the last one, is it?
Is
Or
it?
is there one more after that? No, there's one more after that. So next week we'll be here at 8:30 p.m. per usual for our 11th episode, and it will be our 11th episode incredible extravaganza
It's a celebration.
retrospective, a celebration.
We didn't
of
think we'd
Between
make it
Two
to
Bears.
episode 2, let alone 11.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Pluggo, get your plugs in, my friend. Talk about what you're doing the rest of the week. I know you just said you're going to be on that Reacts
I'm going to
on
make it happen.
Money in the Bank.
I'm going to get in that day because that's my first day back from work.
Yeah,
from
I
my
heard
shoot job.
the real life
And I'm going to
gimmick.
be there.
I
React to what
also
I hope to be a major event, Money in the Bank. I hope they don't let us down. I hope they just go crazy because everybody's back. I think it's going to be a electric atmosphere.
yeah, and then I think there might be some new Between Two Beards material coming out this weekend too. Maybe some power rankings of the Money in the Bank matches. If you wanted to give the people a little tease about that.
Yeah, we're going to give you our official power rankings. Probably drop those on Saturday. Sorry, there was like a bug in the way. We'll drop those on Saturday on all of our social medias so you guys can chime in and tell us if we're right, wrong, and see if we're any good at this. We're going to try some new stuff. You know, we've got the SummerSlam moment of the week or moment of the day going. I think we're getting into the 30s on that. So check that out. I'll be on Throwback Show tomorrow with the Grand Poobah, a.k.a. Spencer Love. We're going to be picking Money in the Bank for his Crazy Wicked Pinfalls title. I'm just going to just slaughter the man. It's going to be sad if I show up here next week and I took an L, but I don't feel like I'm going to take an L. You got to go into that thing confident. Other than that, that's all I got going on this weekend. Outside enjoying the last few days of vacay.
Yeah, I mean, God, vacations. Wonderful, wonderful things those things are. If WWE did ranking systems like AEW, who would be the number one?
Well, that's hard because they 50-50 everybody.
Well, yes, that's part of the problem is they 50-50 everybody. For
who's
God's
on a winning
sake.
streak right now? They just pinned Bobby Lashley.
Are we talking in total or like a specific show? Or
I mean, I guess if you did like Raw right now, who's the number one contender to Lashley? I guess it's Goldberg, right?
God.
That's the problem. They don't give us an opportunity to get him.
I would say
they just pinned Lashley with I guess technically it's Xavier Woods because he beat Bobby Lashley on Monday, right?
He'd be in the discussion. I think that they have booked Riddle very strongly.
Yeah.
He rarely loses anymore. I think even though he lost the IC title since, I think Big E would be in that discussion.
Okay.
But I agree with you. Like I think it's hard to pinpoint because they 50-50 all the time.
Yeah.
You know, they fight one week, the next week they're losing. Like they do that with everybody. Bobby Lashley, and I get it, it's part of the story. Like I don't have an issue with Bobby Lashley didn't need to be pinned on Monday.
No.
You know what I mean? Like they have their champions lose, not the main champions all the time, obviously, but like they have champions lose weekly, it feels like on television. So like it's hard to pick what a number one contender would be when if you looked at everybody's record, probably the start of the year, they're probably all like 9-8. Or like 11-10 or whatever, you know?
Like if you just had Kofi going like a 10 match winning streak heading into this match, you would feel like it's a bigger deal than it not being, you know what I mean? Or just, you can't 50-50 guys. You got to separate them at some point. You can't just say, oh, they're in a title match and they lost last week. It doesn't. So it's hard to do a ranking system because it's so everybody's here. There's nobody up here right now except for Roman Reigns because even Bobby Lashley hasn't looked super strong the last couple weeks with the whole MVP debacle and everything. So it's tough. It's tough.
100%. But yeah, it is that time. We are going to get out of here. He is Pluggo. You can find him on all the social medias at Pluggo.
Underscore, because Pluggo was taken too.
All right, there you go. At Pluggo underscore. I am JPJ, but my Twitter handle is right there. Joseph_Poulin Jr.
The man, aka the man.
I try my best. Thank you all for joining us tonight for another episode of Between Two Beards. That was a lot of fun. A lot of pizza talk. A lot of money in the bank. A lot of optimism about wrestling so far this week and this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Might have been our most positive show.
Yeah. And I feel like last week we were on the serious side for a few of the topics. So I feel like our most positive, optimistic show coming right after that. Perfect. Our 10th show. I want to thank RK Athletics for sponsoring us, as they sponsor everything that we do here on Love Wrestling. Jeremiah, thank you. Thank you for being so active in the chat. Please come back next week. Join us in the chat. We want to involve you guys as much as possible. So we appreciate all of you hanging on, staying with us through these 10 episodes, through all these shows, being in the chat, kicking ass. You guys are great. You guys are the reason why we do this stuff, because it's fun to talk about wrestling with good people. And, it's why we do what we do. So a big thank you to RK Athletics for the support. Big thank you to Joe behind the glass, producing the show excellently like he always does. Pluggo, always good to see you, my friend.
Absolutely.
Everybody in the chat and everybody watching, thanks for joining in. For Pluggo, I am JPG. Whoops, JPJ. God, I need to go to bed. JPJ, we will see you next week for the 11th Extravaganza Celebration retrospective of Between Two Beards. But until then,
baby.
Peace out.
My best friends. Some people say we